morning, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to Viewpoint on 96.3 FM. For our listeners out there, we do welcome call-ins. The phone number is 217-648-5510. Before we get to our guest in Viewpoint fashion, we do a kudos. So a special kudos, or a good luck, I should say, to all of the junior high kids in Logan County who will be competing in the Logan County Speech Contest this weekend, this Saturday at Zion Lutheran School in Lincoln. And special thank you to Zion Lutheran School for hosting it. It's not an easy feat to put on such a contest, but kudos to those kids who are going the extra mile and wanting to go out for speech and stepping out of their comfort zone. So anyway, so good luck to all of you Saturday, and I'll be there with Carroll Catholic's team, so rooting them on, but rooting all of you on, so wishing all of you the best of luck. Today on Viewpoint, we have Pastors Darren and Kami Palmer from Faith Church here in Lincoln. And some of us know them. They wear so many hats. You guys do. Many, many hats, like a lot of us do. One of the hats that may be common to people is you guys are the proud owners of
Marquise.
Marquise, yes. So I mispronounced it earlier. I'm so sorry. And everyone's like, what is that? Well, that's the building that I call a little kiosk or the hut-looking type of building there in the parking lot of Chi Restaurant, and where they've got the sweater weather coffee, my Lotus drinks that I get from you guys.
You are a regular.
Drive-through, yes. But so that's, some of you may, put a face with the name, so that is who our guests are today. So welcome to Viewpoint.
Well, thank you for having us.
So besides wearing that hat, the other hats you guys wear is you guys do have a food pantry that you run from the church once a month, and then you also have a church in Petersburg.
Correct.
That's wonderful. So do you run a food pantry from over there too, or not? Or are you looking?
Not yet. We are getting the building in shape for different kinds of outreaches. So Petersburg has not launched food pantry yet. It will.
Oh, wonderful.
It was an older facility, the older church building, so there's had to remodel. And so once we do that, then we'll be able to open more to the community.
Oh, wonderful. That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. So how do you have to sign up for the food pantry here in Lincoln at the church, or what is the process if somebody does want to?
So our food pantry is a once-a-month event, and it goes like a flurry. Usually the second Tuesday of the month at 2:30, and there is no requirements or sign up. It's just come and get food.
Okay.
And so we're happy to be able to support the community that way. And so at 2:30 we have a flurry of activity, however long it lasts, usually about an hour.
Oh, wow.
And then the food is distributed.
How do you guys get your food? Is it all donations, or because I know there's some local food banks or food pantries that do have to go purchase the food and then to distribute. So how are you guys set up?
We partner with Midwest Food Bank.
Okay.
Our branch is out of Peoria, and it's an incredible ministry that Midwest Food Bank has. The operation is phenomenal, and so we get our food from there.
Wonderful.
So we have limited storage space in our facility, so it's more, we bring the food out and then they turn around and get it back out again. And so, and so in that way we're not keeping things long-term. And that way, the food bank has usually great produce, especially you usually get meat through there, a lot of healthier items. That was really a surprise to me.
Yeah.
So that families, we'll get some donations. Clark's Truck Company has donated a lot of produce and meat for the food pantry. And so that's been a real add-in to what we've been able to offer as well.
That's wonderful.
Yes.
That's great.
And we have enough non-perishable perishables around throughout the month, that if we have families call that need food, we can't give them a full outfit of food, but we can get them by.
Right.
And so that's another way that our food pantry is a benefit.
Have you seen an uptake in people needing food, throughout the year? Is it increased, or have your numbers been about the same, have you noticed?
Our numbers have been about the same. We have, what's happening in our economics right now across America makes it tough on people. We haven't seen a huge increase of numbers. We have new people every month that come, and so we hope as many as possible feel comfortable coming to get food.
And I know that 2:30 time can be difficult for people working, and we do have some that will call, ask us to put a box aside, and so we can do that for a later pickup if they need it and can't get off work to come and get the food.
Do you have some people that, work with shut-ins that possibly come and pick up, food for their shut-ins?
Yeah, we usually will get a lot of messages on Facebook, and so a lot of our people do some deliveries in that situation, yes.
Good.
Yeah.
So the other hat you guys wear, and you're starting, is reaching out to our Hispanic community here in Central Illinois. What led you guys into that, first of all?
I think, and actually this is where the shop kind of played a little bit into it. Through the coffee shop, I just began to notice the increase in the community here in Lincoln. And we're from Galesburg, our previous church. We worked with one of our leaders was from Mexico, and so has done a lot of work there in Monmouth, where there's a large community. And so I connected with her and just said, hey, there's this community that keeps increasing here in town that we want to be able to welcome to our community, to be hospitable to, and help them in any way that we can. And so I've been partnering with her a little bit. In fact, I was just talking with her this morning, and this is a drive over for her, about an hour and 20 minutes to come and participate. She tries to be at our food pantry so that anybody that doesn't speak English is comfortable coming in and get food, and that's been a real blessing, helping them to feel more comfortable with somebody that can speak their language.
Right.
And so there in Monmouth, they have a woman that helps with some legal matters even, and helping them get settled as they come into the country. And so I was talking to her this morning, and she's interested in opening an office here in Lincoln. And so we're going to be connecting with her to see that happen. So we're in the beginning stages of that, very much so, but laying some groundwork for that. We've created the ability to translate our services on Sunday mornings into Spanish for those that might need that. So just trying to, as much as possible, say, hey, you're part of this community. What can we do to help you settle and put roots here? We want to be a blessing in that way. So,
well, Lloyd's not here with us today. Lloyd Kirby, our other, I guess I could say, partner in crime with me on Viewpoint. He's listening, but he and I visited quite extensively, about this. And when Lincoln College was open, and on their radio station, they did have, a segment or special. I want to do this justice, but for the Hispanic community. And he says it was so well received, and and I think a lot of us need to take our blinders off. To our community and see, that we do have, immigrants here and welcoming them, because, we are all either descendants of immigrants ourselves or immigrants ourselves. So,
well, DeMarquis from that Italian side, my great-grandparents had come through Ellis Island, and so I understand that.
Yes.
And, we've even, through some of the outreach we've already done into the community, just sat with some of them and heard their stories, as some of them are weeping, and so it's very difficult for many of them resettling here, and we just want to make that process as as easy as possible. And so hopefully in the next year, we'll be able to really propel forward in some of this as we get some of the structure in place in order to better help them, which I know you've been doing through your business as well.
Yes.
And so we've talked about partnering somewhat with that as well.
Yes, with the health insurance.
Yes.
So I've seen the uptake, I guess you can say, in the Hispanic community needing health insurance, and it's in helping them, just like helping everybody else, and explaining it to them, and like you said, hearing their horror stories and being taken advantage of, and that is just so frustrating. It really, really is that people have been doing that to others. So but I guess we will take a quick timeout, pay some bills, Jim, if you don't mind, and we will return on Viewpoint with Darren and Kami Palmer. Hi, welcome back to Viewpoint on 96.3 FM WLCN. And please, we do welcome callers. If you have any questions, do not be shy. You don't need to ask me afterwards, after the show, Dara, why didn't you ask that question? So I do welcome callers to call in at 217-648-5510. You do not have to say your name, but we have some wonderful guests with us today. Again, pastors Darren and Kami Palmer from Faith Church. Again, like I said, they wear numerous hats, and during our break, we were kind of talking, I learned something fun about them, that they keep our teachers going in the classrooms with some much-needed caffeine. We do know them that they do own Marquis. Yes. I'm not going to get this right. The little kiosk, hut place there along Woodlawn Road. So tell us about how you're helping our teachers first here.
Well, it was just a simple way when we first arrived in this town we wanted to help the community, be a part of the community in any way that we could. And in simple ways, I know one thing about teachers is they do like their coffee. Which my mom, who actually started the whole DeMarquis with the DeMarquis coffee truck, which many of our listeners may know of, they did spend one season here at our farmers market.
Yes.
When COVID had shut all of their jobs down, they came and hung out here. And so my mom actually started that truck. She's a retired school teacher who, after COVID, now is almost full-time subbing still in her retirement. And so having that knowledge of teachers and even the need for encouragement and appreciation, it was just a simple thing. And so within our district and Chester East and WLB, just making sure they all had a Keurig machine, and then we try to do some deliveries of some coffee pods to try to keep them stocked. And
so they have their own coffee in the classroom.
Yes, when they're not coming to visit us, and we do have many that come and visit. We have in the past taken the coffee truck around to the different schools and done drinks for them all, which we actually just this week did in our Petersburg community. We took it into the Petersburg and Greenview schools.
Oh, wonderful.
And since we opened the shop, though, we tend now just to give them all a coupon so they can come in for a free drink at the beginning of the school year. So just a way to help them know they're appreciated. I know it's not an easy job, but we appreciate all of that they're investing into the next generation.
That's awesome.
Definitely.
Wonderful. So the other hats we were visiting about and talking about outreaching. How do you minister? You said you outreach to other countries, not just the United States.
Yeah. Well, the church, even before we came, was heavily involved in missions and reaching people overseas. And since we've been there, we've seen that increase. And a couple opportunities that we've had recently is helping to build churches in Cuba, which has been very interesting. I think the average American's knowledge of Cuba doesn't extend past governmental type things.
Right.
But the Cuban people are amazing. And so us being able to invest into Cuba has been really wonderful. We've sent 2 teams over to help construct. That's been a huge opportunity. And then recently, we have a connection in Lesotho, Africa, which is a small nation completely surrounded by South Africa. And we are currently raising funds for a building there, a pastor that meets in the mountains that has a little tiny shack of a building, and we're raising funds to be able to provide a full facility for that pastor. And so just a number of opportunities like that around the nations. And it's just been exciting to watch our people have a vision, not just for our own local community, which is growing, but also for the nations. And that extends from what Jesus told us to do, go into all the world. And so having that kind of a heart for all people is really, really exciting to see in our church.
That's wonderful. So how did you go about finding somebody, I mean, in Africa, in this minute, country, like you said, is surrounded by South Africa?
Well, the way that one happened was that we have some friends that felt called of the Lord to go there. And so they told us about what they were feeling. And they're an interesting couple because they're not only connected with our church, but they're also connected with the Nazarene Church in Lincoln and First Baptist Church in Lincoln, who are both supporting their ministry. And so they're beyond our own denomination and helping us locally just build bridges of unity between churches.
Wonderful.
And so we met them, and they told us about their connection.
Everybody working together.
Yes.
That's what it's about.
And that's really...
so much more can be accomplished.
Absolutely.
When everybody works together.
Join forces. So yes, there's no I in team, I always say. It's a team effort.
That's right. And our heart for the community churches has always been, we're not in competition. We are all on the same team.
Right.
And so that's a major theme of who we are.
We all need to work together. That is neat.
Yeah.
So how many times have you been down to Cuba? Because I know you've traveled quite a bit, Darren. So.
Well, she homeschooled the kids, so I did most of the mission trips through the years. And so recently we've been to Cuba 2 times, working with 2 different pastors and churches there through our contact in Miami, Florida. And so that's kind of how we route to Cuba. And so we've been there twice, 1 week at a time.
Are you pretty well welcomed when you go down there? Because, you hear on the news, certain things about, the crime and that sort of thing. So when you go down there, do you feel pretty, safe or not? Or still need to be on guard?
We feel incredibly safe.
Wonderful.
We have never had any situations that are negative, honestly. The Cuban people love Americans, and they just are thrilled to host us. We often feel humbled because they're so needy. They have to wait often in line for 2 or 3 hours to get a single item at the grocery store.
Wow.
And then sometimes get turned away at the end of that. The need there is incredible. And yet when we come as Americans, they have saved and saved and saved to be able to feed us.
Wow.
And we just sit there and oftentimes don't even know what to say because of the love that we feel from the people. And their hearts are wide open. And so wherever we go there's just been a real connection.
That's neat. That's neat. So circling back then to, your, like I said, your many hats that you wear, back to reaching out to the Hispanic community. Are you seeking volunteers? Because I know you're wanting to get this off the ground. What are you guys needing to outreach within our community, for this this next venture that you're wanting to do? What are you guys needing or looking for?
A few of the things that we're just working to get off of the ground is first of all, we're looking into ESL, so English as a second language. And so we have one that has already gone through the training for that. That does take a number of volunteers. You do not have to know Spanish to participate in that. You just have to go through that training. And so our goal being weekly ESL classes. They're coming straight from Mexico, no English. And so we really feel like that would be of benefit. So anybody can be a part of that. And then even with our Sunday morning translation, if somebody does know Spanish, and so we have a booth with a soundproof booth, and it operates off of the radio earbuds, so people can sit in service with earbuds and get the signal and hear the translation that's happening as service is going on. Yes. And so if somebody speaks Spanish and says, I can translate, that would be a great opportunity. Even being a part of the food pantry, especially if you know Spanish, that's always a great need. The lady that helps us in Galesburg, Sonia, can't always be there. So if you know Spanish and say, I can be at food pantry once a month to help them, that would be a great benefit. And then if you're interested in, I haven't even talked to the lady about the legal matters, but if you're interested in helping them get things in order and being a part of that as we open that office, that would also be another area that would be.
Where are you looking at possibly opening that office?
I just heard that news this morning, and so I don't have any details beyond
fresh
that.
Off the
That's
press.
exactly right.
That's right.
So I'm going to try here in the next week or two to get connected with her, and so I'll pass along that information to you as we get that. Yeah.
No, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Where do you see the Hispanic community here in Lincoln? Everyone, needs, like I said, needs to take off their blinders. But where are they working at? Where do you see them employed at?
Well, at first, we only basically saw them at Mexican restaurants.
Which have been a lot of the ones we've connected with so far.
Since we started to really feel a burden for this and start to focus on it and start to build something, we have been meeting people in the Hispanic community everywhere, and have really, because we think, we live in Lincoln, Illinois. It's 99% white Caucasian people, but there are people from other cultures all over this Logan County region, and in an increasing kind of a way. And so we have met quite a few that have just recently come into our community from South America, different countries, and the numbers of people that only speak Spanish is increasing all over Illinois and even here in Logan County.
When we first came to Lincoln, it's been 10 years now, that was one of the difficult things for me. We had a lot of more diversity in our previous church. We had an African church, Hispanic, and so coming here, I'm like, I've lost all of that, and I enjoy that. I enjoy that, and so I'm very excited to be a part of helping out and just coming alongside others that in a lot of ways teach me things and give me broader perspective. Even as we live in this global society, it helps me become more global as I interact.
My mom always told me growing up that there is life outside of Logan County. There is life outside of Logan County. Nothing against Logan County, you love it, but when you look at it in the aspects of things, you have friends in different states.
Yes.
Different countries, families in different states and different countries, and we're just one big melting pot, and we need to take down those blinders.
Yes.
And just realize and be there for everybody and be helpful. And I commend you guys on your ministry and your work and bringing this to light. And wanting to reach out and connect.
Yeah.
That is wonderful. So if somebody wants to help, again, how do they get in contact with you guys? How do they reach out to you? How do you want them to do that?
Well, you can call us 217-735-5900. If that is difficult to remember, we don't have a jingle. We need a jingle with our phone number. ComeToFaith.com.
And where's the church located at? For some people who do not know where your church is located at in Lincoln, where is the church located at?
1225 Nicholson Road. It is right next to Adams School.
Okay.
Sandwiched between Adams School and former Lincoln College.
It's a beautiful church.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So we're right there.
Wonderful. Or stop by and give it a cup of coffee
That's right.
and reach out to
There you
you
go.
guys.
I'm there quite a bit through the school year now, so.
Well, I thank both of you for what you're doing in the community, wanting to grow, wanting to do things, outside of the United States also too, as well. That is wonderful. So, and thank you to our listeners tuning into Viewpoint on 96.3 FM. And next week, the Lord weather willing, we will be back.